So we know based off of these Roki sweepstakes, there's two possible outcomes for this Roki Sasaki situation. One, he signs with the Mariners, and two, he doesn't sign with the Mariners. And I think there's a positive to each side of that decision. If he somehow decides to choose the Mariners, even though I can't find a single list out there from any reporter that puts the Mariners in the top 5, top 6, top 7, top 8 in terms of likely suitors for Roki Sasaki. So they would sign him, and they would have a 23-year-old fireballer who's going to be the ace of the rotation in 2 years, making league minimum. Fantastic. Or he doesn't sign with Seattle, but now you know of, if we take a look at our list of 6, 5 teams that will need that want a starting pitcher that will now need one, and they will have missed out on the best one on the market, and now might be a little bit more desperate to come calling back to the Mariners for Luis Castillo. So I combed through this list. I was trying to find, all right, what teams would the Mariners want a player from? That would be, I said 1% realistic. If it's 0% chance, then I took it off the table. And I came down to 3 options here out of this list. We talked about the Giants and Tyler Fitzgerald last week. The New York Mets and Mark Vientos, which is probably 0.1% of chance, but I'm going to put that in there anyway. And then the Chicago Cubs, as we've talked about Nico Horner all offseason, with more attached, coming back to the Mariners, and the Mariners sending Luis Castillo to Chicago. For the other teams, the Mariners aren't trading Luis Castillo to the Rangers. I don't think the Padres would trade someone like Jackson Merrill, who is unbelievable and going to be 22 next year. They have no reason to trade him.
Yeah, let me even go take it a step further than that. You say you don't think? No, the Padres will not do that.
They will not. And
especially because the Padres are currently trying to shed salary.
Right. And Jackson Merrill makes league minimum.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, the last team, the Yankees, I can't think of a young, up-and-coming, everyday player on their roster the Mariners would want from the Yankees. So, that's the list. Do any of those 3 intrigue you, or one of the teams that I said had no chance?
You think the Yankees would think about trading Anthony Volpe for Luis Castillo?
Do you want Anthony Volpe?
He hasn't been great, but he's still so young. I would be interested.
Bad.
I'm not saying I'd be fired up, but I'd be intrigued. You're still talking about a guy that was a top 3 prospect in baseball.
Like all the issues, excuse me, that Anthony Volpe has had as a big leaguer, I don't think those get solved playing at T-Mobile Park. Like a small shortstop that one of his tools, he had a power tool in the minors, no?
He still put up, again, per reference, 3.5 wins last year.
His defense is still pretty good, right?
Good. He's got value. And again, so look at this. This is just on reference. If you want to use Fangraphs over Baseball Reference,
I'll pull
that's
it up.
fine. But in his age 22 and 23 season, while he has not wowed anybody with his bat, at least not yet, his rookie year, he still hit 20 homers. He was a 2020 guy his rookie year while putting up 3.3 WAR. And in year 2, as a 23-year-old, 3.4 WAR. Like
he's at 3.4 on Fangraphs too, and he's got 21 defensive runs saved at shortstop, which is significantly better than the Mariners have gotten at shortstop with J.P. Crawford the last couple of years.
I might think about that. I'm going to be honest with you.
And I will note this as well with T-Mobile Park when it comes to home runs. Home runs aren't really the problem with T-Mobile Park. It's everything else.
Yeah, that's what everybody's now coming to the conclusion of, and that's what everybody's saying. It's not the home runs that kill people. It's line drives stay up too long in Seattle. Yeah. They hang up.
Which I can't imagine helps Volpe, because the home runs haven't been the problem for him.
I'll tell you what. I'd way rather have Anthony Volpe than Hyesung Kim. However, the fact it would cost you Luis Castillo is where things get, tricky.
He's also stolen 52 bases and only been caught 12 times. That's pretty good. He's definitely got the tools, and he's, by the technical sense, improving offensively from an 82 WRC plus to an 86 WRC plus in his second season. But selling your fan base on Anthony Volpe while trading away Luis Castillo now is tough. It'd be a tough one.
It is. It's very tough. And maybe it wouldn't happen. But if you're trying to throw out names, because here's the thing, right? You throw out Lamont Wade and Tyler Fitzgerald, or you throw out Fitzgerald alone for Castillo. Fitzgerald had an awesome half a season, 60 games, whatever you want to call it. He's still pretty unproven. There's not a lot of sample size there on Tyler Fitzgerald. It could be just lightning in a bottle that he had this past year.
And he's older.
So that's one. Nico Horner, look, he'd be awesome. But the Cubs don't really have the space right now to trade an infielder. Now, if they sign Alex Bregman and they say they're kind of in the sweepstakes for him, then maybe it becomes possible. Because Bregman has said he'd be open to playing other positions. So if Bregman were to sign with the Cubs, they're going to leave Paredes at third. Or wait, no, Paredes is gone. What am I saying? So, yeah, if Bregman were to play third and they have a chance to then move Horner for Luis Castillo, maybe they think about it. But I think the Cubs have to do more with their infield than they currently have for them to move away from Nico Horner. Right now, I don't think they have the resources to do that. So that's two of the three right there. I'm trying to think about some other ideas here, and I could talk myself into Anthony Volpe. Again, yes, he is not an established, impact big league bat yet. He does already have value. He was a top 3 prospect. He's going to be 24 years old with 4 years of club control. I could be interested.
Is that a straight-up swap?
Probably. Again, you're still talking about Volpe as a 3.5 win player.
Right. Well, if you're selling it in that case, Yankees might want more back.
Yeah. Then you can throw in a prospect too.
If you look at it from the Yankees' perspective, I don't know if it benefits them at all to let Anthony Volpe go at this point. Because they missed. Now, if they had cashed in on the shortstop market like we had assumed they would, when there was all those big free agent shortstops on the market the last couple of years, Correa, Trey Turner, Xander Bogaerts, etc. Those guys were on the market, and I know the Yankees were in trying to sign those guys, and they weren't able to. That would have made Volpe a little bit more expendable, and then that could be a super obvious one. It's like, all right, give him a new environment. There's less pressure here in Seattle. Just go be yourself. That's what happened to J.P. Crawford, and J.P. eventually flourished to have the 2023 season as a former top prospect, a former top 3 prospect, just like Anthony Volpe. You just can't really sell that to your fan base right now, unfortunately. But given the situation the Mariners have put themselves in, you don't really have any other choices. No. Someone like that is available, could take a swing at it.
The other thing, too, with the Yankees and looking at Roki Sasaki, just talking this through more, is they may be looking at Roki Sasaki, like a lot of teams are, where it's essentially, an add-on piece, an unbelievable add-on piece, but it's essentially just, they're doing it out of just pure talent, not out of need. It's just it's like in the NFL draft when they say you draft best player available, you're not drafting for need. This would be the Yankees signing somebody at league minimum for need, because you look through this rotation. Garrett Cole, Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, Luis Gil, Clark Schmidt, and then you still have Marcus Stroman. There's some dudes already there. Now, with Roki, you could go to 6.
Wait, you're telling me you're supposed to keep signing talented players even after you already have some?
Oh, that's weird. No, actually, you're not. It's not a smart strategy.
Yeah, I guess we were told the opposite. Fine.
No, again, we were told the opposite. We were told it's not a smart strategy. Therefore, it's not. I mean,
very interesting.
The organization that's made 0 World Series clearly knows. Anyway, yes, the Yankees may just be looking at Roki Sasaki as somebody that could be an ace for them and a way to fill out a 6-man rotation if it was possible that Roki was interested in playing there. I also don't think Sasaki's going to sign there because everything we listen to Joe Wolf talk about at the winter meeting says he may be looking for a softer landing spot. If the Japanese media really was as hard on Sasaki as his agent Joe Wolf outlined, and that it took a toll on Roki a lot of the time, I don't know if going to New York and having to hear his name on WFAN all the time is exactly going to make it an easy landing spot for him.